I mean, if I'm Sherrone Moore, I would have lost my mind.
Michigan keeps giving it up to us, man. They keep lifting those skirts and showing us that leg. I mean, if they're going to keep putting out, we're going to keep taking it from them.
Appreciate everybody joining us. If you haven't heard, Michigan has self-imposed a suspension for next year for weeks 3 and 4 for their head coach, Sherrone Moore. And while we have a resident former Michigan quarterback and alum, we thought, why not bring two on here, two guys that understand what's going on inside of the world of Michigan athletics. And that's our friend. There's nobody else better to bring in than from the Steve Deace Show, our buddy Steve Deace.
Steve, what's up, man? Welcome, Steve.
Hey, guys, appreciate that. And I don't think the administration at the University of Michigan is getting similar applause from Schembechler Hall today, but thank you.
Yeah, no, it's look, it's a brand new world for me. I mean, I guess if you're all for transparency, we're not here in the SEC. But I want to throw it over to David Cohn. David's got to lead us off here. You got to step in the box.
It's a three-letter word. Why, Steve? Why? Why are we self-imposing sanctions? Why don't we make the NCAA do their job if we supposedly did something that violates their rules?
I have no idea, David. I don't know. You know, I've just come to the conclusion that the Michigan administration, even though it's a notoriously liberal campus, I've just come to the conclusion that the administration at Michigan are all closeted Republicans. Because as a lifelong conservative and a 20-year professional conservative activist and commentator, I've only seen this level of gutless compliance from the Republican Party. I mean, Democrats, man, real Democrats, they'll put their opponents in jail. They'll stop civilization over a virus. I mean, they're the SEC. They are the SEC of competitors in my mind. Right? They want to win. All right, they want to win. They so believe in their cause. They will win at all costs. They are the SEC in the world that I work in, and the Republicans, man, are Michigan's administration. Just complete capitulation. The key phrase, to be serious for a second, is self-imposed. It would be one thing if this were part of some grand plea bargain, just to make the whole thing go away once and for all, and allow Brohio to finally move out of his mom's basement and, I don't know, look for these things we used to call girls. If it'd be one thing, if that's what this was, I would still not be in favor of it. I'd offer nothing. I'd accept no plea. We're literally the only people on planet Earth, guys, who are still cowering in fear to the NCAA, all work in the administration at the University of Michigan. No one else on Earth is apparently as afraid of the NCAA as the Michigan administration is. But it would be one thing if this were part of some announced today grand bargain, plea bargain, and this is done. We can all move on with our lives, and let's just get back to football. But it's self-imposed. There's still a hearing the first week in June. This level of sanctimonious, self-righteous capitulation, frankly, I only see it when Republicans are in charge on Capitol Hill, guys, and the Michigan administration.
Is that the most backhanded compliment you guys have ever received?
Look, I've heard of Southern Democrats before, but that
Blue dog.
I don't. To be honest with you, on one hand, I'm like, damn it, Steve, no. And then on the other hand, I'm like, God, the math kind of adds up, though. If you really look at it, I just, to me, it's either one of two things, and this is the first one I want to ask you to get this out of the way, so I can get to my grievances against Michigan on this. So you don't think this is a part of trying to get out of something bigger that we don't know about? Like, this isn't a preemptive, oh shit, something's coming down the tracks, and we want to even though the NCAA is it's like on a video game when you're fighting on Mortal Kombat, they're losing their juice level. It's going down to where you can basically finish them off. You don't think this is like trying to say, hey, listen, we're going to do this because there's something else out there? Because it's linked to the Connor Stallion stuff, right? Like, what else do we not know? Like, what else could there possibly be out there? So you don't think it's that?
I mean, technically, Sherrone did something about as misguided. And you guys know I love me some Connor Stallions. I consider him a pal. But he should not have gone to Central Michigan University, okay, allegedly. And Sherrone deleting those texts, I would put this kind of in that purview, looking at it as objectively as I could, in that you gave them a potential reason to punish you beyond something we still aren't even clear what the rules of something even are. But here's what we have a precedent to your question, Jake, which is Michigan self-imposed a 3-game suspension upon Jim Harbaugh in 2023. After that suspension, the Big Ten came out with a report in which it said in writing, it had no evidence whatsoever that Jim Harbaugh was aware of, knew, or directed what Connor Stallions was allegedly doing by apparently having his mom, who apparently knows more football than everybody else, holding up her phone at a few games and getting film that just wasn't available on the internet. But Jimmy was not aware of this, did not direct it. That says this right in writing. Tony Petitti put this in writing in his report and then turned right around and suspended Jim Harbaugh again anyway. So we already have precedent for the fact that when you offer some sort of alm or sacrificial lamb in order to make it go away, that does not work. The only schools we have seen punished in the last several years are the ones that actually comply with the NCAA. Group of 5 schools that don't have the wherewithal financially, the legal counsel to really go after them, and the University of Michigan. I mean, Steve Klingscale got like a century-long show cause for sending a kid Michigan gear. Okay, sending a kid Michigan gear. That was the reason for his show cause last week. So we're the only people apparently that literally we are the NCAA slump buster, as Mark Grace used to put it. All right, you walk in, man. You've been dry for a while. The wife's left you. You're a country song, and you can't get a woman to look at you. Okay, and you just decide who's the slump buster in the bar. That's what Michigan is to the NCAA. We can't get anybody else who matters with a brand to take us seriously. We can't get anybody else to be afraid of us. Any of us to fear us. Let's just call Ward Manuel's office, man. See what he's doing tonight. He's good for a hookup.
Let's just start telling on ourselves. You're getting bullied. It's like getting drunk and calling somebody and you start telling them like 20 years ago you did something. But
hashtag bet though, Steve. Hashtag bet. Like we'll stand up against this.
Well, like to me, this is the kid who you get all the way through the class and the teacher forgot to take up the homework that half of you didn't do, and the one guy's like, "Hey, excuse me, teacher, you forgot to take up the homework from last night." Maybe it's because of the world that I was birthed into and came out of in the SEC. And this is why I said with Danny Cannell the other day, the only comparison I have, or the only way I can look at the way the Chinese government works over there in communism, is that it's like the SEC. You're never going to know. We'll never tell. You call and said something bad happened? No, it did not. You call and said, we have a housing crisis, the economy's crumbling? No, it's not. We're stronger than ever. You're going to have to break into the facility and come find these files, buddy. We Hillary Clinton the cell phones. We don't just delete the evidence. We beat them to death with a hammer so you can never get it back. I got a ton of respect for Michigan. A ton of respect. The Big Ten's been doing such a good job lately. But I just feel like this is y'all's Achilles heel, man. Now, maybe it's just Michigan, but I mean, at the end of the day, this shocks me.
But isn't there a difference between like we did something wrong and we've identified that and we want to be in full compliance because we don't want to be known as an institution who breaks the rules. There's a difference between that and no, we're gonna like make up our own punishment for ourselves, even though we don't know if you know what the punishment is. I mean, correct. Is it true or is it not true that Baylor got in trouble for this in 2016 and the assistant who in-person scouted got a half-game suspension? If that's true, there's precedent. Why is Jim Harbaugh getting suspended for 3 games by the Big Ten and now the new head coach is suspending himself? I don't understand it.
Just to put a finer point on what you just said, David, Jimmy could still coach the team during the week. What Michigan is imposing is Sherrone has to stay completely away. He's not going to be. He's going to be away from all football activities for these 2 games.
Well,
so I am just beyond flabbergasted. I shouldn't be shocked given, guys, we had a member of the Fab Five as our head basketball coach for 4 years, and we still acted like in our record books they never played basketball at Michigan. Okay, I mean the level. There is no program in America that does more. First of all, there might be no program in America that collectively has the success the University of Michigan has. Just imagine if it didn't have an administration that was trying to stunt that all of the time, working against that all of the time. There's a part of me that wonders. I keep trying to like Ward Manuel. Michigan message boredom is as anti-Ward Manuel AD as it can get, but message boards are what they are. I keep trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. I like that he went out and got Dusty May. I like that he got aggressive in keeping Dusty May, and that's great. And then I look at something like this, and I have to ask, dude, you played football, right? Like, how did you make it through 1 year of 2-a-days with Bo Schembechler, let alone 4? How'd you do this? Yeah. Back in the days when run till you puke was like the standard for strength and conditioning, how did you survive? How do you come out of the Bo Schembechler culture and then what you're most known for as an AD is ankle grabbing? I do not understand it at all. It makes no sense. And I have no idea. This is one of the finest law schools in the country. Tennessee has lawyers that can beat back dropped McDonald's bags. And the alma mater of Clarence Darrow can't find anybody that can do something against verdicts before there's even completed investigations and hearings. This thing has just been a crock from the very beginning. But Michigan's capitulation all the way through has made it even worse.
Dads teach us how to fix things, persevere, and sacrifice for family. Believe me, I know. I have a 3-month-old. And this Father's Day, show Dad he deserves quality with a price even he'd be impressed by. Gift him Raycon Everyday Earbuds, premium sound for music, podcasts, and calls at a price even he'll approve. Raycon's Everyday Earbuds are the perfect gift for your father, whether he's pumping iron at the gym, handling those endless work calls, or enjoying his favorite tunes that drive your mom absolutely nuts, especially in the car. And with an impressive 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity to pair with 2 devices simultaneously, your dad can finally say goodbye to those tangle-wired earbuds and maybe those white tennis shoes. Plus, the quick charge function is a game changer. Just 10 minutes of charging provides 90 minutes of listening time. And they even come with a premium active noise cancellation. But best of all, Raycon earbuds start at just half the price of other premium audio brands, making them the perfect way to give Dad high-quality sound that goes wherever he does. Raycon's Everyday Earbuds come in a spectrum of vibrant colors to match your dad's vibe. What's your vibe, Cone? What color's your vibe? What would you say?
We have purple. We have a purple case and a black case as well at the house.
Nice.
Yeah, we all use them.
Very diverse of you. And if your dad's not liking his Raycons, they offer a 30-day happiness guarantee return policy. No questions asked. But go to buyraycon.com/booster to get 15% off site-wide. Because right now, Raycon is offering 15% off site-wide when you go to buyraycon.com/booster. That's buyraycon.com/booster.
It's like Michigan's a teacher's pet, but the teacher hates them.
Yeah.
What it feels like.
Yeah, it's masochistic.
Well, another thing, Steve, what do you think about the timing of the suspension, right? Week 3, Week 4, I believe that is
it's Central Michigan
and Nebraska.
And at Nebraska.
That's
right?
at Nebraska, too. So I get Sherrone wants to play against his alma mater, but that's going to be Bryce, if he ends up the starter at Michigan, his first Big Ten moment, and their head coach is not going to be there. So I want to get your opinion on why these weeks.
My guess is they wanted to come out because it's going to be a young offense with Bryce. They wanted him to be there for the opener, and you guys know the old cliche, teams improve the most from week 1 to week 2, and that is Sherrone's alma mater. So they wanted him there for that. Central Michigan's basically a bye week, all right? And if you offer up a game that's like a meaningful game, like a Big Ten game, again, forgive me, I got to really lower my T level to answer your question, okay? I mean, I have to pretend like I've never sired children and I'm a 51-year-old virgin who is, self-imposed, virgin to understand the level of male weakness it takes to rationalize this entire process. So forgive me, I'm doing my best here. But if I had to guess, come up with some kind of game that sounds meaningful, sounds difficult. We lose it. If we lose it, it's early enough in the year as the Big Ten opener. There's still plenty of time to come back. We get this out of the way, and then we have Sherrone back here for the full 2 months of the real grind of Big Ten play. Again, you can probably hear my voice changing, all right, as I do this. I'm trying to think of if I were a complete and total wimp, a complete and total mangina, I had no balls at all, and I was the only person on earth that thought Charlie Baker was intimidating, what would be the logic that I would come up with? And frankly, that's the best that I've got.
Well, it's just the mental gymnastics that it takes to have to sit here and be like, okay, well, week 3, I just want to see the guys that sat in that room and were like, hey, we're going to self-impose this, but we're only going to have them sit out week 3 and week 4. All right, is everybody good with that? Yeah. Like, I'm just trying to think about how that meeting went. Like, was anybody not just like, I just feel like you needed like the young guy to like raise his hand in the back who's like young enough to know he's not elevated enough to talk and be like, guys, I just want to ask, why are we doing this? Like what? So y'all called them and said, hey, we don't think we've been punished enough, but we're going to wait until week 3. And I would love to see the transcript of it. If I'm Sherrone Moore, and y'all called me and told me this, I would have lost my mind. Because I saw Joel Klatt saying, look, I got a lot of respect for Joel Klatt, say, well, if you really don't know ball, you think this is a bigger deal than what it is. Bro, you got a brand new quarterback. You got a brand new $12 million quarterback. The
brand
first
new
week,
offensive coordinator.
Y'all need this. This doesn't get fixed in a week, 1 week together of gameplay. This is, hey, once we get to week 5, week 6, we'll have this ratcheted up and so consistent that we can have a chance to maybe go do something with a young quarterback. This is just, it's mind-boggling to me. I can't wrap my, I'll tell you this much. Ohio State would never do this.
No.
They would never do this. They
Nope.
would never do this in a million. And to be honest with you, as bad as this sounds, and David, you know I love you, and Steve, you're my guy too.
Keep it real with him, son.
Bro, I got more respect for Ohio State.
Whoa, now, not that
I'm
real.
just saying, I got more respect
listen,
for
man.
Y'all get down and dirty with us. Y'all come on the black.
Listen.
Y'all take the blood oath.
I don't
with
know
us.
from a team player standpoint if I have more respect from, but of administrative standpoint, absolutely.
I don't know.
100%.
This
Michigan's
game
Do you
just
know how
whipping their
often I
ass.
wish? Do you know how often in my line of work I wish I were a Democrat?
Yeah.
I've said that so many times the last 15 years. I really wish I was just completely godless and was a Democrat. And I just because what is it like to try to win? What is it like to try to defeat and humiliate your opponents and put them in prison, take shots at them, cancel elections? What's that like? I can't even imagine for a second the level of certainty. I'm greatly attracted to it. Unfortunately, I just think everything they think is wrong, so I can't get there. But that's exactly why I have the same feelings that you guys that you just articulated about Ohio State. Because ultimately, here's the thing, guys, this is football.
Yeah.
This isn't, it's not like we were harboring some kind of serial rapist. All right. We found one guy turned out to be a creeper. We turned him over right away to the feds. Fine. But if this is football, and whether some dude's mom held a phone up, okay, from the 38th row at a stadium to get film that he could have just spent the time getting off of YouTube or the All 22. This entire thing is ridiculous. And just Michigan going out of its way to say, yes, you bet. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Hey, grab the cat of nine tails too while you're at it. I don't think I've suffered enough.
Yeah. This is 50 Shades of Maize and Blue.
On the weeks 3 and 4, I heard it phrased today. If you get to accept when your punishment happens, it's not a punishment, it's a vacation. This is like the mafia boss who gets to decide when he goes to prison.
You had a
and where
great
he
tweet
goes.
about it. Tell them the tweet you had about your wife.
Oh, you didn't hear? In future news, I am going to be handing down my own punishments regarding arguments with my wife from now on. So I didn't know that you could do this.
Yeah,
This is a
I
good
didn't know you could
thing,
do this.
because nothing will come about it afterwards, right?
But and again, like to his point though, we are talking about trying to win in football. Okay, I'm not saying do this as a country because that's how y'all are start wearing the same uniforms and start a world war. That's not what I'm saying. This is just, bro, we're trying to win, and you're Michigan. You're Michigan. You're not one of these little kids that they can go pick on and say, oh no, Central Arkansas, you will pay the price for this. Bro, you're Michigan. They're not going to do anything to you.
But if we're picking games, why can't we just split it up? Why can't it be weeks 1 and 3?
Yeah.
Why can't it be New Mexico and
why not Central Michigan and Northwestern?
Yeah.
Let's just do that.
If we're going this far, why can't we just pick which games we want to?
How about I just sit out a week of fall camp?
Or better yet, how about nothing? How about just nothing? How about you just show up to work and make them do their jobs? When the police officer pulls me over for turning right on red, even though there was an old rusty sign that said I couldn't do that I missed somehow, I don't then say, you know what, I think I'm going to give myself $50 and let's just call it even.
Yeah.
No,
Yes.
you're going to have to tell me what the penalty for that is.
Notice how this all sounds progressively dumber the more we talk about this.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Yes.
I just, again,
No fault of our own.
I almost think, I'm going to be honest with you, I almost think it's better for Michigan if there is something bigger down the pipe. I would almost feel better if I was a Michigan fan.
Because then it would make sense. It would make sense.
In my mind, dude, the NCAA's dying. You were in a duel with a guy, all right? You pulled out the gun and shot, and he went down, and he's got his last breath. And you walked over to him as he's dying, gave him the gun, and said, you know what? You still get to shoot me. You're alive. I don't
I
know.
100% agree, Jake. I say in my line of work all the time, corruption is better than feckless. Corruption, I understand.
Yes.
People
Yeah.
got to get paid. I get that. Papa needs a new pair of shoes. Feckless is what keeps me up at night, right? So if we really, at this point, I am hoping we hacked their practice tape.
Yeah.
I'm hoping everything Brohio has been self-pleasuring himself to in mom's basement in between rounds of Code Red for the last 4 years. I hope it is all true. I hope it is, because it would actually make this make more sense than, oh no, we are just that, we just are that weak again. We suck again. That is the part that is just mind-numbing to me.
Yeah, it's like
y'all just won a national championship.
Man, see,
That'll be with us
see,
forever.
that's
Just won a
bad
national
too.
championship.
You're still swinging a big stick, and you beat Ohio State and Bama to end
Yeah, we did.
last year.
See, who do you
What
respect
do
now?
this year?
Who do you respect now,
Instead of
Jake?
going full-throated, like put the card in the hand, burn
Yeah.
it. We're in this thing together.
Well, this is what happens, Jake,
Don't tell the cops.
when Connor's mom upgrades to the latest version of iPhone.
That's
and so
another
she's able
thing.
to get the highest magnification lens. And, I mean, clearly the film we got from row 38E was clearly just that much better. And you saw that against the Buckeyes and the Crimson Tide.
We were talking with Danny Cannell about this, and we were talking about the future of the NCAA, and he's saying, look, the NCAA has clearly lost its bite. There's going to be a future iteration of college football with some sort of super league. And I understand that that's what everyone's talking about, but when you see the University of Michigan do something like this, like, has the NCAA lost its power? First of all, I don't want universities to be able to break whatever rules without punishment. That's not the point of this. The point is the NCAA hasn't done its job of telling people what exactly the violations are and then issuing punishments that are commensurate with the violations.
Well, hold on, David. Except for Pete Thamel. The NCAA apparently tells Pete Thamel absolutely everything.
Yeah, I saw.
Okay.
Well,
but for the rest
Pete's,
of us, you're right. They haven't told us anything.
Well, I saw on Pete. I was telling Blaine today what Pete issued a statement today, and it said something about in-person scouting. It didn't say anything about sign stealing saga, which was what I thought the initial tweet was that he had that lit this whole thing up. See, when we want the headline to say sign stealing because that's sexy and that gets a lot of clicks, that's what we put out. But really, that's not against the rules. It's in-person scouting. And now that we're at the phase of this where punishments are handed down, we have to get actually specific with our language, right?
Yeah, so to your part, again, and I agree with you that I don't want everybody breaking the rules all the time and everything like that. But all I ask for is that from my team's perspective, and with Auburn and Alabama, this is true. This is like something happened. Nobody broke the rules better than Alabama. Everybody was paying everybody back in the day. Alabama was just really, really, really good at it and had it perfected. So if they're able to break the rules and get away with it, I want my team to break the rules too.
Correct.
I want to become a machine that can break the rules and get away with it as good or better than they are, and then maybe we can fix it for everybody. But I know Ohio State's cheating. I know they've got to do, everybody is. Everybody's trying to get an advantage. Just like, again, I'll go back to the Chinese. They rip everything off. They steal all the IP, and they never get in trouble for it. Never get in trouble for it. Maybe the one time they do get in trouble for it, other countries stop doing it. I've just never thought about breaking the law and then driving to the police station to tell them. That's just what this is. That's what this is. Or hey, I cheated on my wife, which I didn't. Just want to let everybody know. Like 8 years ago, and she got over it. Oh my God, she actually got over it real cool. But every time I get drunk at a dinner party, I bring it up as a joke. Why? I go back to your three-letter words, why?
How does this movie end, Steve? Not just for 2025, but moving forward. What's going to happen here?
I mean, I have no idea. I mean, right now, because here there are larger forces at stake here for the NCAA than just this story, guys. I mean, you've got, former Auburn coach turned U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville trying to convince Trump to issue an executive order on this, on the NIL stuff. And I have no idea how that would work. I mean, he does have some standing with the NCAA. I mean, his branch is what regulates Title IX. So they do some regulation of NCAA policy where that's concerned. But typically this has been about an antitrust exemption that has to be done at the statute level. This is all a lot of brinksmanship and gamesmanship. And the NCAA is trying to present itself with the strongest hand possible to have some vestige of government, whether that's the White House or Congress, come in and save it from itself before it goes off into extinction because of what the courts have done to damage the organization. So anything at all that makes it look like it has more standing, more credibility, goes to that sort of positioning for the NCAA. So I don't think you can take for granted at all, if you're Michigan, that any sacrificial lamb that you've offered up, I mean, they may just keep coming back for more and more and more and more and more because they're trying to strengthen their own hand with politicians who respond to leverage and public outcry. And so right now, literally, the University of Michigan is the only thing. The Michigan Athletic Department is the only thing offering the NCAA any sort of reverential respect whatsoever. Yeah. So I don't know if I were the NCAA, if I were advising them, keep telling them, hey, keep milking that bad boy. That's a big brand. They just won the Natty. They just won the Big Ten tournament in basketball. They're a perennial top 10 team in the Directors' Cup standings, one of the biggest athletic departments. We are trying to strengthen our hand to get the president's attention, to get Congress's attention. Michigan keeps giving it up to us, man. They keep lifting those skirts and showing us that leg. I mean, if they're going to keep putting out, we're going to keep taking it from them. I don't know if what the NCAA's position would be at all to give up any sort of negotiating tool to Michigan, given how much Michigan's already given up on its own. I'd keep milking this if I were them. That's why you should have waited for a plea bargain. This goes back to the very beginning. If this were part of some plea bargain announcement, it would still be weak, but at least it would be understandable. Fine. All right, fine. Let's get it done, get it over with, move on with the rest of my life. We're not there yet.
Do we know that we're not there?
Hearing a month from now.
Okay, so Steve, we know that this isn't a plea bargain behind the scenes and they're just not positioning it as that right now?
If it's not, then every other report has not indicated that is what is happening here. And instead, every other report has indicated there is a hearing with the Infractions Committee still scheduled for 1 month from now on June the 6th.
Well,
we'll see.
We're going to see. Steve, again, you're the perfect person to bring on to talk about this. And you always deliver, my friend. Again, Steve Deace Show, absolutely fantastic stuff. Steve, man, we appreciate you joining us, and good luck. Maybe you need to be representing Michigan. Maybe you should just show up at the Infractions.
I mean, see, the more
just kick the door in.
The more we have you on, the more you talk, man. I'm just gonna be honest. You're just getting closer and closer to sounding like an SEC fan.
Yeah, you guys are.
You really are.
You
really
are.
SEC.
You can come home whenever.
Like what I tell people is Steve
SEC.
did this professionally. He'd be one of the best in the business. This is his hobby. Yeah. He broke down the entire Michigan spring football game position by position and graded Bryce Underwood. This is this man's hobby. Yeah. That's how talented and smart he is.
Steve, I will say before we let you go, something that Cohen was telling me, like, well, what did Bryce go, like 15 to 28 or something in the spring game, something like that? Was that about
12 of 27.
12 of 27. And there were some fans out there that are like, oh my God, he's overrated. You want to know what's so funny about the spring game that people don't realize is that number, you should feel a lot better about yourself than if you went 25 of 27. Because if that's the case, that means the defense sucks. And that would have been the headline the next day.
And it's not like the defense doesn't know what you're running.
No, it's all vanilla ice.
They always
spring game,
do.
It's a trailer for a movie, and you don't even show any of the good parts. So, but Steve, man, we really appreciate you coming on, brother.
Thank you, guys. Very kind. Always appreciate it. Love talking to you guys. Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Steve. All right, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you keep track of all the content we're dropping because it's coming hot, fast, and heavy, kind of like the way Michigan treats the NCAA. We're going. It's awesome.